You're listening to the Lifestyle You podcast, where we help you achieve a realistic and human approach to health and fitness by working with your body, not against it. My name is Jenna Altman, and my mission is to help you, the active woman, find a healthy lifestyle that you can consistently show up for and make decisions that align with you and your body. In today's episode, we are going to dive into the question of how can you start to tune into your own body and the signals it provides to make conscious decisions in terms of your health and fitness. Monitoring biofeedback, or the signals that our body is giving us, will allow you to listen and understand what your body is trying to tell you so that you can finally work with your body, not against it. Now, I already know how you're feeling. You're probably somebody who works out already, you eat pretty healthy, but feel like you need at least 3 cups of coffee throughout your day. You feel pretty sore, tired most of the time. You're missing your menstrual cycle potentially. You're starving all the time, or maybe you're never feeling hungry at all and you always wake up feeling tired. Now, this is negative biofeedback, which we are going to dive into in a moment here, but we can actually improve a lot of these indicators to get our progress moving in the right direction in terms of our health and fitness. And you might actually be surprised to know that what your body is telling you is exactly what it needs at any given moment. So tune into the rest of this episode so we'll dive into this together. I honestly hated how I felt. A few years ago, I spent most of my days just worrying about food and exercise. And really a lot of those questions look like, how much more coffee can I drink to subside my hunger? Or how many miles do I need to run off today to burn off the cookies? Or how can I spend more time outside the house to avoid overeating? I dreaded my workouts because I was always feeling really sore. I relied on coffee for my every move. And I was honestly just so tired of feeling guilty about indulging in some of my favorite foods. And honestly, no matter how much I restricted my calories or how much cardio I did, I still hated my body and I felt like I was really truly fighting against it. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but my body was negatively responding to the things that I was doing. So I was running a lot, I was doing too much in the gym, I was not eating enough food for my body. And that's why I really struggled with low energy, poor digestion. My sleep wasn't great. I always woke up feeling tired. I was really, really stressed. And those were some of the impacts that I encountered from this sort of approach that I was taking. And now when we talk today, I'm going to use this word a lot, biofeedback. And this is essentially the way that your body is talking to you. And so there are many different things that we're going to look at, many different factors of biofeedback today. And so when we are listening to our body and trying to determine what it is actually telling us, we're going to look at things like sleep, hunger, recovery, energy, digestion, and stress. We can also include a couple other factors in general that are just related to mood and mental health and things like that. But the core of what our body is trying to tell us is often reflected in the body's response. And so we really want to start paying attention to what our body is trying to tell us. And so if you are somebody today who is experiencing low energy, if you have poor digestion, if you struggle with sleep and you wake up feeling tired, if you're constantly stressed, if you have no hunger hormones or any hunger cues, or on the contrary, you constantly feel hungry, these are some of the signs that your body's trying to tell you that things are not okay. The status quo is not okay in our body. So we need to find that happy medium, that equilibrium where we can settle and feel really good in our bodies. And sometimes that means making some lifestyle shifts. And so when we're talking about this, right, why does it matter that, I'm not really working with my body? Why does it actually matter that I need to work with my body? What makes a big difference? I have enough discipline. I can make this happen on my own. I don't need to worry about my biofeedback or anything like that. But in reality, if you are not working with your body is going to tell you that. And it is going to work against you as you pursue health and fitness goals. And so you can get to a certain point where you are still making progress and still seeing some results, but ultimately that is going to cap out and you are going to experience these low of the lows that we're talking about. So that low energy, poor digestion, lack of sleep, just tons of stress, all of that stuff. And that is going to leave bigger impacts on your life and your well-being than you might realize right now. And so this is why it's so important that we start to pay attention to what our body is trying to tell us. And so how do we go about this? How do we evaluate your own biofeedback and what your body is trying to tell you? So first, we're going to start with awareness. And this is where we are going to start tracking your biofeedback and identify really the behaviors and actions that lead to positive biofeedback and negative biofeedback. Because once we create this awareness, we can dive a little bit deeper and start to troubleshoot some of these things and see if we feel better by introducing more food through reverse dieting, which we've talked about before. Or maybe it's, setting up a weekly routine where you have some activities that help you reduce stress. Or maybe it's a sleep time routine where you're able to really put into practice and prepare your body for sleep. And then same thing in the morning, using that morning routine to get your body back up and into the day and taking that time for yourself. So with that awareness, we can utilize that to move the needle forward in terms of our health and fitness journey and not be stuck and left behind by our biofeedback. When our biofeedback is in a good place and it is in a positive space, it's going to make your physical transformation that much more successful, and it's going to be that much more enjoyable for you. You're not going to be fighting against your body. You're not going to feel like you are climbing an uphill battle. It is going to feel simple and easy and fluid like it should. Of course, there are always going to be trials and tribulations no matter what is going on, because pursuing a health and fitness journey can be challenging. But as long as you are working and have your body on your side, that is going to make you that much more successful. And when we're thinking about this too, you can actually use biofeedback to help you determine where you should head next. So if you are in this state of low energy, just chronic stress, that should tell you that maybe you should pull back on your training or your fitness program. Or maybe you should think about incorporating some more stress management techniques. That's just one example. There are so many different ways that we can go here and how we can actually utilize that biofeedback to tell us where to head next. Especially if you are struggling with negative biofeedback, the last place that you would like to be in is a deficit, a caloric deficit. Because now you are adding additional stressors onto the body on top of that already stressed out biofeedback, and that is only going to make things worse. Okay, so this is really important that if you are somebody who has been chronic dieting, if you have been struggling with eating enough food, you most likely need to pay attention to your biofeedback and probably start eating more food. And so I want to dive into a couple of ways that you can start to improve your feedback today to start making progress. Now, one of the main methods that we've already hinted at in this episode is reverse dieting. And you guys have heard me talk about this time and time again, but this is essentially where we slowly add in more food to help restore the metabolism. So again, if you were a chronic dieter, that means that your metabolism is pretty much there's nothing wrong with it. It's just slowed down. It's really adaptive, really responsive to the actions that you have consistently been doing. So if you've been under eating for an extended period of time, your body has now determined that that is your new norm. And so we need to add more food in slowly, gradually over time and allow that metabolism to catch back up, to speed back up, and that will improve all of your energy and all of the rest of your biofeedback. So that is honestly one of the biggest main approaches that I advise for you to consider, because that is going to move all of these dials in a really good direction. So reverse dieting is going to most likely improve your energy. You'll have more energy. Your digestion will most likely be better because you'll be getting enough fiber in and eating enough carbohydrates. You'll also be getting better sleep because of that food quality. You're not waking up hungry in the middle of the night, anything like that. Your body is actually able to go to sleep and rest. And then you're taking away some of that stress around the body. So a caloric deficit, or eating in a lack of calories, is going to be a stressor on the body on top of all the other stressors in life. And so when we can eliminate that and increase your food intake through a reverse diet, that is going to be much more impactful than just trying to power through that diet in the first place. Now, another strategy that we can utilize here to improve biofeedback is actually pulling back on your training. So if you're somebody that does a lot of HIIT classes, high intensity interval training, maybe we can take some of those away and add some strength training in, add some walking in. Those are going to be really impactful in terms of your biofeedback because we're taking that additional stressor away from your body. And so once we can do that, we start to experience more positive biofeedback as a result of that. So that's a really easy swap that we can implement. And the last strategy that we're going to talk about today, and mind you, there are tons of different strategies that we can utilize to improve your biofeedback, but these are the ones that I think are the most relevant to you who's listening to this episode. And I think that this next one is so crucial and critical, and people often dismiss its importance. So, reducing your stress. Whatever that stress is coming from, first let's identify where it's coming from, and then let's try and troubleshoot and find strategies that can help you reduce that stress. Stress can play a very impactful role on your well-being, as well as the way your body is talking to you. It has a really big impact, more so than just what's going on in your mind. And so it's really important that we are paying attention to that stress and incorporating some form of stress management, whether that's taking a break from work throughout your day or paying attention to things that make you feel like a kid again and incorporating more of that. And so really, and boundaries, right? That's another really good one that's pretty applicable. How can we put more boundaries into place, whether that's at work or friends or family and whatnot, and allow things to feel better for you and putting yourself as the priority. And so these are a few of the tips. Like I mentioned, again, we can go so many different directions with this, and there are tons of ways to improve biofeedback, but I would say that these are the ones that will make the biggest impact on your life to help you start feeling better today and improving that biofeedback. Now, as we always close out every episode, I want to take the time to discuss our food for thought today. And this one is going to be something that we've already mentioned in the episode, but it's so important to realize this. When your biofeedback is positive or trending in a positive direction, that is going to make your physical transformation that much more successful. And this is why this work is so important, and it is going to just increase your longevity of the process and help you really join on this journey of health and fitness instead of this destination. And so I really encourage you to reflect on how you can incorporate biofeedback to start to feel better and to start to really truly make progress that feels good both physically and mentally. If you're someone who's been listening to this episode and it just really resonates with you and you're looking to improve your biofeedback and to start to feel better and start to actually make progress in your journey, so that way you can learn to work with your body and not against it, now is the time to apply for one-on-one coaching with Harvest Coaching. All you have to do is apply for coaching. There's an application link in the description of this episode. And when you click that link, it'll bring you to the form and you will apply. There is no obligation to sign up for coaching. It will just allow us to have a discussion around what you need help with, and I will point you in the right direction, whether that's coaching or not. And so go ahead, check out that link. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this episode. I can't wait to hear from you all, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Lifestyle You podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star rating and review to help others discover the magic we're creating together. If there's someone in your life who could benefit from listening to this episode, be sure to forward it along to them. You can also follow me on Instagram at Jenna Ray Altman for more helpful content, resources, and good vibes. As always, thank you so much for being here.